I actually got involved in this church after I didn't get something I actually really wanted. There's a group at our school called the Academy Singers, and it's like a choir group, except it's something that you have to try out for. And it's singers who are like, really good and they know what they're doing. And I thought I was ready, and I tried out with one of my friends who used to be part of the choir here, the youth choir. And we were both excited. She ended up making it, I didn't. And she felt really bad for me. And so she was like, hey, let's go to choir. Let's do that. And I was like, okay. So I went one night and somehow she forgot. And so I was sort of thrown into the fire. But what happened was I was picked up and put under the wings of the senior basses. And that's when I really became involved and I really started making friends. And now it's one of the favorite things that I get to do.
So a few weeks after we went to our first Sunday service, my parents took me to Asbury Choir, and I loved it so much because I was really good at it. So I liked it a lot. And I went from being this sort of nobody new kid from 300 miles away to being a leader, like at least in my mind. But those kids in Asbury were my most welcoming friend group that I had all year, and they still are. They're still all my friends, even though I kind of bullied them into being friends with me then. But the best part is that I've been Asbury's accompanist. I've played piano for them for about 5 or 6 years now, but I just kept coming back, and it's been 8 years, and they're just now getting rid of me.
I was really just born into this church. My family's gone here for a long time. I was baptized here, but I wouldn't say I really got involved in the church until like at the end of middle school or so. And that's when I started really just doing stuff like going tutoring, participating more in the choirs, going on tours and mission trips.
The youth program. My friend, I brought her over from another church one night, and she was like, you have such a big church and your youth ministers know everyone's names. And I think that is so special. And the second thing would be the choir as a part of that youth ministry. The fact that we have, high school students come every Sunday morning, 8:30 to serve and sing for God is kind of incredible. And our program is so unique and amazing, and it's I've learned so much from the people in this, and it's a huge blessing. Those like mission trips, tours, and just all the stuff we do throughout the week to help people, that's what's really meant the most to me, because that's the way I've been able to serve others.
One thing I've really learned about God is, a lot of people think that you have to see him as a Lord, or you have to see him as an authority figure, and you do, but you also should see him as a friend, and you should talk to him like one, and you shouldn't feel scared when you talk to him. You should open up to him, and you should say whatever's on your heart. And then also another thing I've learned is God is a being who will come down to your level if you ask him to. He doesn't have to stay, so far above you and you so far below him. You can be on equal terms. And that's something that's so beautiful, because he also feels your pain, and he feels whatever you're going through, and he completely understands. And all you have to do to be with him is just ask him.
Whenever I first moved to Tennessee, I went through kind of a lonely phase. But freshman year, that all changed, and this church was a really big part of that. So since then, I've learned that I'm never alone, and that God's always with me, and that he's always carrying out his plan exactly how he wants it.
Well, at Breakthrough this past December, I got God's calling to be a worship leader. In the past 2 years alone, this church has really built me up by giving me opportunities to sing very powerful songs quite frequently. And I was just scared to get that message, but then I realized that I'd been training for this for 8 years, because the youth and children's music staff had been shaping me and giving me experience and leadership skills. Well, this church has really showed me that even a church this size can have an amazingly intimate community. And
that's really inspired me to do my own work in the church. And I have really felt the call to become a pastor. So in the next few years in college, I hope to study and go to seminary. And I'll be attending Lipscomb University, where I'll be able to work with James while I'm still in school. So I'm going to be interning here and learning, and at school and learning, and I'm really thrilled about the whole thing.
Travis Gardner. Travis helped me through hard times that I was going through in my life. 4 years ago, I lost someone who was really close, who I was close to in my family, and he helped me through that. And he was the one who taught me that God is also a friend. God will come down to you. He's just helped me through so much, and he's been there for me so many times. And I've never asked him to help me. He came to me, and he was the one who really picked me up and set me aloft and made me fly again.
James Wells and Kristen Cole. I don't know, he just made me feel very at home there, and he really trusted me and my talents, and our reward as kids was his respect. And one of those adults was Kristen. She's been like a sister to me for the past 7 years. She was just so creative, and she's been the face of worship music for me, and one of those people where I want to grow up to be just like her.
Say my hero here is James Wells. He really gave me a voice. He brought me music, which has been my most intimate connection to God, to be honest.
I guess just a bunch of just the older guys who have gone before me. I don't really have a specific one, but just the grade above me, and then maybe my brother's grade. They were the ones who sort of like got me involved in this, and so I'd say that they would be my hero.
Adam Jones, for sure. Adam and I, something happened to us both in high school that was sort of affected us. So it was really good to be able to talk to somebody who shared the same experience. That's really helped my spiritual health a lot.